Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk about life. Our guests will share their life story. We want you to success in life and business. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk about life. We're going to speak on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are going to witness business with a servant's heart. With hosts Steve, Ramon, and Ray. Inspiration, education talks. Listen to the podcast. Steve, Ramona.
Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. I can't even say my own name. I'm thrilled to have you join us today. Really am. My guest is unbelievable. This podcast is dedicated to exploring the idea of working with your life and your work with a servant's heart. With that, you can make an impact and difference in your world. Imagine doing that daily. It's a fun thing to do. We also created the podcast to inspire, educate, and motivate you. And my guests will do that, but pay attention, listen, because we're going to go through a unique show today I've never talked about in 580 shows. So get your pad and paper out today. With that being said, today's episode is proudly sponsored by our incredible partner, Pantheon Alliance. Would you like to be part of an exclusive community of high-income, successful business owners and entrepreneurs from very diverse industries? Together, they're building a thought leader platform to impact and change the world. For more information, reach out and I'll get you all the information on Pantheon. Impact and change. Question I want to ask everybody. Are you losing sleep? Are you not sleeping well? Do you like martial arts? Do you like to beat people up? I hope that's a no. Please say no. That's what we're going to talk about today, because I had the health and fitness industry for 20 years, and sleep is one of the most important things. Over exercise and nutrition. If you're not getting sleep, those other two don't work. So I know a little bit about it. My guest knows a lot more. So I want to welcome to the show, Brian. Welcome to the show.
Steve, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
How does Brian go from master expert in martial arts with all these great awards and being competitive in martial arts to sleep?
Yeah, so you can probably tell from the gray that I'm an older gentleman, and as you know, you age, oftentimes you start to have issues with sleep. And I was in a position where I was just struggling to get 6, 7, 8 hours of sleep. And even when I was getting 6, 7, 8 hours of sleep, I was waking up every hour and a half to hit the bathroom, to whatever. So I tried just about everything you can possibly imagine. So I had prescription, sleep meds. I tried melatonin. The problem with all of that is there are side effects, and I start to get very concerned about cognitive issues as you get older, things that, happen with these medications. Melatonin, you're not supposed to take over a long period of time. And this is a chronic issue. So people are oftentimes stuck with, okay, either I struggle with sleep and then I'm tired all day. I don't have the energy to do the things that I need to do, that I want to do. What do I do about that? So just not out of the blue, but I was at my urologist, which is where older folks often find themselves talking about sleep issues, because you're up going to the bathroom a lot. And he had asked me if I had tried CBD or cannabis. And in fact, I had in California. It's perfectly legal. As a youth, I had never touched anything, even though I grew up in the 70s when that was like ubiquitous. Everybody was smoking dope. I was not one of those guys. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to try that. But I did, and it helped. But THC, which is illegal in certain places, you can't travel with it. You can't put it on an airplane. Also, there are issues with long-term use of THC. So I was concerned about that. And he mentioned that he was working with a company that had put together a kind of a natural alternative using CBD and CBN and other just natural ingredients like valerian root and different things that are known to have an effect on sleep. And I was a little bit skeptical, but I said, let me try it. Let's see how it goes. And I tried it, and darned if it didn't work. And it's been something that has been, I actually have a little bottle of it here. This is what it looks. Company's called MD Bio. This is their product, MD Sleep. And then they also have others for different issues. I've tried their pain medications. They have different medications. They're all doctor formulated, and they really do help. And because it's a chronic issue, for a while I was trying different things where I would rotate. I would go, well, I'm going to take my prescription medicine on Monday, and then I'll take an over-the-counter medication on Tuesday, and then I'll do an all natural. And sometimes that wouldn't work. And this has been fairly consistent. There are days when still my mind is racing. I've got a million things going on, and I don't sleep, or I wake up, or I had something to drink a little too late, or whatever it is that will interrupt your sleep. And as you kind of alluded to, sleep is one of the most important elements of our body. It's the time when we get to repair any damage. It's the time when our mind gets to rest. It's the time when we if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to stay in shape, all of those things are affected by sleep. And of course, your cognition is very much affected by it. So to me, it was incredibly important that I find something that would allow me to get through a day with all the things that I have to do.
What are the results you see?
Well, so it's really interesting. I take 2 capsules, and you can take 1 to 3. Depending on how it affects you. And started with 1 and saw how that went to 2. And then, probably 45 minutes later, I start to get sleepy. And here's the interesting thing, and this is something I've discovered just for me. I have no idea if this is something that other people deal with or not. If I fight through that moment of, gosh, I'm really getting sleepy, I'm going to be up. And if I give into it and just say, okay, it's time, whatever I'm doing, stop, put the phone down, put the book down, whatever I'm doing, just relax and let it happen. I find that I'm getting 6 to 7 solid hours of sleep, 8 hours of sleep, and that's all I need. I don't really need more than that. If I get 6 or 7 solid hours, I'm good to go. Yeah. So that has been my experience with it. And so far, knock on wood, it's all gone pretty good. Yeah.
What would you tell somebody that sleep is affecting their life? Is they're worried about it, they're stressing, because that's the other problem with sleep, anxiety and stress, as you probably felt. Yeah. What would you tell somebody listening that's having that?
Well, I mean, stress is also one of the big things that you want to mitigate. So you got to find a way of relaxing. The MD sleep is a great alternative. It's not the only thing you need to do. I think you need to find out, for me, exercise is a great stress releaser. In fact, probably one of the best things you can do for your body in terms of stress and in terms of sleep is exercise. So I'm a big believer in that. I work out a lot. I'm constantly working out. So those things definitely help. And in addition to that, you're if you're concerned about it, talk to your doctor about it. Talk to your physician. Don't necessarily go off on your own and start taking over-the-counter sleep meds without getting the information, because a lot of those, they are not designed for chronic sleep issues. They're for, hey, I've got a meeting tomorrow and I don't want to be up thinking about it. That's the time you take that kind of thing. So you want to have something like the MD sleep that is designed for chronic issues, where you're not going to have terrific side effects that are going to affect you in the long term. And I think that's really important. Beyond that, you do want to, now this is one of those do as I say and not as I do things, but you really should have a kind of a ritual for sleep. You shouldn't have the TV on. You shouldn't, if you want to read a while, that's fine. But whatever you're doing, set a ritual. Warm baths help. Low lights help. Just kind of, having this kind of inner sanctum where you go, it's no longer time to be up and doing things. It's time to go to sleep. And I don't do that, but I think other people should. I preach to other people that they should do that.
Yeah. You try it. And I love that you mentioned exercise and all these different other things that you need to do, because there's no magic pill out there.
No.
I've been 63. You're much younger than me. We've seen it all. Everybody say, I got the magic pills, do this, that, this. There's not. There's multiple things. And I love that you mentioned to your doctor. That's a true way of promoting a product that is, it's not from, but it's a supplement.
Yeah.
And it may not work for everybody, right?
Right, for sure. And one of the things that they told me when I started taking it, they said if it'll work for you. If it stops working for you, go off of it for a while and then come back on.
Yeah.
But of course, if you go off of it for a while, then you're back to that place. Okay, now I can't sleep, or what do I do?
Yeah.
So you've got to look for, first and foremost, the things that you can do physically to set the tone for sleep, and that includes exercise. And by the way, Steve, I'm not great at math, but I think I'm older than you. But I just
want okay. I thought you were 60. Okay.
No,
see,
no, I'm
host always
67.
correct. Gets good. 67. Holy, you look great. No wonder why you
Thank you.
See what sleep does for you? You look 50.
That's right. I'm well rested. So
okay. So let's jump on it, audience. I'm half kidding. But you developed a new product. You didn't even know you did. You know what you developed?
What did I develop?
While we're sleeping, exercising. We got to find a product that we can exercise while we're sleeping. Audience, if you're out there, reach out to me and Brian. We'll support you. I don't know how else we can do it, but that would be kind of cool, but don't think it'll ever happen. We'll just leave that there.
We'll have to think about that.
You're besides martial arts and the MD sleep, you're a master of a lot of things. Why do you do so much?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a real reason beyond. So the Japanese call it ikigai, which is a purpose in life, right? To have a purpose. And so for me, there are drives in my life. Family is a big one, probably primary. That's my primary motivation. I have 2 fantastic kids and a fantastic wife. All in the film and television industry in some fashion or the other. My eldest daughter is also she's a writer, actress, composer, and animal welfare scientist, which is your typical happens out. But she's a fascinating character. My younger daughter is an actress and working right now on a play, and my wife is an actress. So I'm surrounded by actresses, and that's a big motivator for me. There's so much that I want to share with my world, my life. As a writer, I've been writing for my entire life, basically. I also started as an actor and failed sideways. I feel a little bit like going to Disneyland. There was a height requirement. I didn't meet it. I was like, oh, I'm just like 2 inches below that. So, okay. So I ended up working on the production side of television for a while, and that led me into writing. I come from a family of writers. My father, who's 92 and still around, was a writer who started out as a sports writer and ended up working in the world of autobiographies with celebrities and sports and people and political figures like George Bush and John Connolly, who was the governor of Texas for a while and was with Kennedy when he was assassinated. He did books with Dan Rather. He did books with Shirley Jones and Marty Ingalls and Betty Davis and Gene Tierney and on and on and on. And then also Nolan Ryan and Mickey Mantle and his first book was with a guy named Howard Cosell, which you would remember, but I don't know how many of your listeners.
Yeah.
But he did a book with Howard Cosell called Cosell by Cosell, but it was actually Cosell by Herskowitz, which was my father, Mickey. So writing was genetically predispositioned with me, but I was kind of reticent to go down that route initially. Wanted to be an actor. And then when I got into production and started realizing that I wasn't going to be the next Michael J. Fox because he was Michael J. Fox, I went, okay, well, what can I do? And I had an idea for a screenplay and I wrote it and ended up getting an agent and having it optioned and went, okay, well, I could kind of do this if I had to. And didn't do another screenplay for about 7 years. And then went, okay, I've got another screenplay, I'm going to write it, and realized I had no clue what I was doing. That I was in it. I had written the first one, just it was an experience that I'd had. I lived in Tokyo for about 18 months over a several year period, training in martial arts and judo. And that experience I turned into a screenplay and did very well with it, but found out very quickly that, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. So I started to study the craft, and in studying the craft, eventually got to a place where I went, hey, I have some ideas about how to do this. And I started to teach, and started off teaching seminars around the country, where I would, teach in Nashville and in Texas and different areas. And then was asked to be a part of a school, UCLA extension, asked me to come teach there. I taught there for 10 years in their burgeoning online program. At that time, it was like one of the first times that people were teaching online, and it was like, what is this strange magic? You can actually teach from home and not have to be someplace. Now it's like, oh, you mean you have to go somewhere to learn something? What is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
it's all changed.
Yeah. So, but I taught there for 10 years, and then I was a sitcom writer on a television show called Blossom, which starred Mayim Bialik, and I wrote a couple of episodes for them, and that was their last season of the show. And after that, Blossom was a fantastic show. It ran for 5 years, but it wasn't, although it was a very popular show in America, it wasn't a very like hip show for the other writers here in Hollywood. So nobody really gave much interest. I'm watching my words. Nobody was all that interested in reading my Blossom sample. So I went, I've got to go write another script, but I've been paid really well for quite some time. How am I going to get motivated? What am I going to do? I don't have a paycheck to motivate me. And there was this company out here that did classes called Writers Boot Camp. And it's a terrific program. And I called them and I said, do you have any sitcom running classes? They said, well, coincidentally, we're starting one. It's our first one. It's coming up. And I said, okay. So I took the class. I really liked the program. I wasn't crazy about the instructor. I thought he didn't really have a handle on talking to writers. And I said, look, if you want somebody who's done this and understands the process and has taught, let me know. And I ended up teaching for them for 5 years.
Wow.
And then after that, the last 20 years, I've been teaching a graduate program for Boston University here in Los Angeles, and where I take students that are usually MFA students that are or graduating seniors, and we go through the process of the industry, and then I work with them on their spec scripts during the week. So I've been doing that for quite a while. So that was kind of my journey in terms of the teaching side, and while I was doing that, I was also writing and producing and doing my own thing. And I'm not sure where I was going with this, but that
no, but you gave us a good background, and it's interesting as you're talking, Brian. Like military, I think martial arts, the discipline that you learn in both industries. Do you think that helped you to handle all these different things, especially 100%. Obstacles?
100%. So I started judo when I was 6 years old, and my instructor, who's passed away a few years ago, as a 10th degree black belt, which is the pinnacle. That's as high. There have been I just looked it up. There have been 100. There are 15 10th degree black belts living now. So that kind of gives you the idea how, what kind of world that is. But he was somebody who claimed that my brother and I both started at the same time, that my brother and I were both just these absolute, terrors that were running around, destroying most of Houston, Texas, which is where I was from. And I don't recall that. My recollection was I was an angel, and I'm going to stick with that story. But we started there, and there was this several different things. One is you were given an element of respect. We called him yes sir, no sir. He was Sensei Guys or Mr. Guys. We never called him by his first name until we got to be adults. And we, you had respect, you had discipline, and you were motivated. And one of the things that it has really helped in my life is facing adversity, looking at the issue and the problem and going, okay, here's a roadblock. What are my options? I can quit. I can go around it. I can go under it, or I can go through it. And those were things that, you start to look at problem solving in that way. And because of that, I started judo, like I said. Now this is my 60th year. And I recently was given my 6th degree black belt. I 3 weeks ago won the world, they call it the World Veterans Championship. It's the World Masters. It's the old, pardon me expression, the old farts division. But I competed in that. It's the second time that I've competed here in the United States in the competition, and my second gold medal. So that one thing motivates me to stay in shape. So I can't compete if I'm not in shape. And I also, above everyone's objections, I still compete with the kids, the 20-year-olds, and everybody tells me don't do that, but I just can't.
Like
So I said, because it's motivating, and it makes me go, all right, if I want to do this and want to do it safely, I've got to stay in shape. So I do that. And then I also teach twice a week. I'm sorry, several times a week, 2 different classes at 2 different dojos, judo, and one is at a Brazilian jiu-jitsu dojo, and one is at a judo dojo. So I teach a judo club. But that ability to face adversity, injuries or setbacks or losses, and go, okay, it's not the end of the world. What do I do? How do I face that problem? How do I keep going? Has not only pushed me as a martial artist, but also as a writer. I'm constantly finding that there are glass ceilings for age. There's, there are issues with other elements of writing. There's things that you have to kind of reinvent yourself in doing. And at each juncture in my life where I've faced that kind of adversity, I've, rather than going, well, I think I'll be a shoe salesman, or I'll go off and I'll work at McDonald's. What else can I do? I've had other options that have come to me where I've gone, okay, I'm not going to do that, but I can do this. So I've been an executive with companies where I came on board thinking, okay, if I'm the guy who's making the decisions, I can make the decision not only for other people, but for myself. So I'm often involved in putting projects together that way for other people as well as myself.
Yeah. We're coming to the end. So much information you gave. One thing on discipline, it turns into a habit. And I'm hearing that from you. That's what people don't realize. Me getting up at 5:15 every morning. Like he says, wow, it's early because I'm in California. It's just what I do, but it's become a habit now. My discipline was do that same with, that's why I wish I did martial arts. I'm not going to look back, but I wish I started at 6 because I love what you guys do. There's so much time. We don't have time
Ever
to talk.
too late.
No, and you're right. And that's, I love hearing that. We're going to bring you back for part 2. I got to have you back if you're willing to. Oh, this would be great. So there's a future for your screenplay and your book. Tell us about what's going to happen in the near future here.
Oh, okay. So it's so funny you shouldn't mention it. I just happen to have copies of my book. So this is my novel called Conceptus. This is a book that has won a couple of national and international awards. And but I did something a little different. This was one of those things that I'm talking about in terms of obstacles. So I wrote a screenplay and finished it about the day that COVID hit in 2019. And when COVID hit, the industry just completely shut down. Nothing was being shot, nothing was being done. And I went, okay, I don't know how long this is going to last. I don't know if it's going to be 3 weeks or 3 years or what. Do I just sit back and wait, or do I do something? So I used the screenplay as an outline and created a novel based on the screenplay, and the novel's doing quite well, but the screenplay has won a dozen awards. I'm now trying to produce that. I about 2 years ago joined the Producers Guild of America as a feature producer. So I have some bona fides there, and I'm trying to put stuff together that way. And then this is the book that I've written on screenwriting. It's called Process to Product. And I'm always trying to help others, learn my process for how do you get from point A to point Z, and it's called Process to Product. And I was actually inspired in part on a book by I can't remember the writer's name, but it was a book on how sports psychology helps athletes succeed in competition. And one of the things they looked at is, and this is one of the things that I preach as a writing instructor, is whenever somebody aims for something as a writer and says, I'm going to write a great mystery and it's going to be the best film that's ever been done, that's really hard to control. So I can't control winning or losing. I don't have that ability. If I did, then I would
be sitting here.
Yeah, you and I wouldn't be talking. I'd be in Italy. But so I don't have that. I don't have that ability. What I do have the ability is to be in the moment and go, I want to make this moment the best moment it can be. I want to make this character the best character it can be. So those are the moments. It's about the process. How do I make that happen and not the product? So it takes you from the process through the product. So the idea is, how do I come up with an idea? Why is it an important idea to me? How do I take that idea and put it on paper in a story and in a way that would make an audience want to see it? And then the results are out of your hand.
Yeah,
I had a guy come to me one day and ask, how do you write an Academy Award-winning screenplay? And I said, you don't write an Academy Award-winning screenplay. You write the best screenplay you can write. And if the Academy happens to love it and you've got the machinery behind you, then maybe you get an Academy Award, but you don't have control. So work on the things that you have control of. And I did that not only as a writer, but as a martial arts competitor. Because I can't, again, same thing. At the World Championships, I couldn't control whether or not I beat these guys. All I could control is, how do I grip? How do I try and pull? How do I, enter my techniques?
It's a great lesson to end with for you out there with business or life. Control what you can control. The election just ended. We only can vote. That's all the control we had. And then we just move on and meet wonderful guys like you, Brian. Let's end. Such a great show. Oh my gosh, my head's spinning. But let's end with a fun. Let's improv. Let's do a little acting.
Sure, I'm ready.
So I've reserved a restaurant in Hollywood where you live for a table of 4. You're going to sit in one of the chairs. Who are you going to invite, dead or alive, in the 3 empty chairs? Why are they coming to the restaurant? And what food are you going to order?
Wow. Well, dead or alive. Well, Robin Williams was a friend and somebody I miss dearly. I would love to have him there. Robin was one of the most sweetest, kindest, most hysterical human beings on the planet. So that's one. I would probably invite my wife because she'd be very unhappy if I didn't. You're in one, and then I guess I'm in the other. Is that what we got?
Well, I could be the 5th one. You got one more empty chair.
Ooh, one more empty chair. I would love to pick Albert Einstein's brain. I would love to hear what he had to say. And then if we have one more, can we get one more?
Let's do it. It's your table.
I'd love to have a real conversation with William Goldman, who is a fabulous writer who's no longer with us. And I met him once many years ago, but really never had a conversation with him. And he's somebody I'd love to sit with and hear the stories of Hollywood and his theories on writing.
It's a blessing. What are we eating?
Well, this
your
is
choice.
I'm a vegan, so there's no meat, but I like meat substitutes. I'm okay with that. I think there's a wonderful Thai restaurant. If that's where you made reservations, I would go with that.
You're gonna tell me where we're going. I'm making okay. Thai is good. I just stay away from some of that stuff could be spicy, but it's really good. My wife's getting me hooked.
I'm okay with spice. That's good.
Yeah, I can tell. You're a spicy guy. That's why.
I can be.
And we're going to bring you back for part 2, but thank you, Brian. This has just been such a great show. You're a blessing. You care. You're humble. You're successful, but you're out there reaching, helping people. I love that. That's why you're on the Servant's Heart podcast. An audience, if you want to be a writer, an author, an actor, you want to do a screenplay, share this link, subscribe to the YouTube channel to share the link. Yeah, I want subscribers, of course, but I'm not concerned about that. People don't talk about this. That link you give to somebody of Brian's show can motivate them, go, you know what? I'm going to reach out to Brian to be a better screenwriter or producer, or maybe they want to jump in martial arts. That's the power of this. Take that link and share it. It's the best gift you can give. It's the servant heart's gift. And we're developed it here today. Again, Brian, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All of you, me and Brian, want to thank you for watching or listening to this podcast. We'll see you guys in the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone.